Now that we are able to access Tweepy, we can go through and use some of the built-in methods. Since our bot is going to check for likes and retweet them, we need to be able to do two things. 1. Check for liked tweets, and 2. Retweet the liked tweets. Over time, various Twitter concepts have evolved, so different older names are used in Tweepy. 2 to call out are status, which is a tweet, and favorite, which is a like. For learning purposes, we're going to create a new file to test in, and then we will convert it into one master file to make deploying easier. Let's create a new file called favorites.py. And we can go ahead and add in the same authentication code we used in our previous Tweepy test file. We'll get rid of this. And so again, this is how we authenticate through Tweepy. Within Tweepy, we have a favorite method called .favorites. This returns the favorite statuses for the authenticating user or user specified by the ID parameter. To use it, we will pass in the screen name of the favorites we want to look at, which in this case would be David Dobrik's screen name. To use it, we'll call the API favorites and pass in the screen name of the favorites we want to look at. So here, screen name equals, and again, we're looking at David Dobrik's favorites. And let's save this into a tweet list to run. And we're going to actually limit the count to 5 so it's not too crazy. There's another parameter, count, that lets us know how many to look at. And from here, we're going to print the tweet list, which is again, we're going and getting David Dobrik's screen name, getting all of his favorites, which would be the 5 most recent ones, saving it to a tweet list, and then we're going to print that tweet list. It didn't have a comma, I had a period, so let's save this and try running it again. And holy cow, that's a lot of information and hard to read. So what exactly is Twitter sharing with us? Let's go to their documentation and see what the response actually is for favorites. So for just one example response we get is all that information, which includes the date it was created at, the ID, the text, entities, hashtags, symbols, and so much more. But what we really care about in this response is the ID, because that's what we're going to need for our retweet method. And we know that because if we look at the Tweepy documentation, the retweet method just takes a single ID. So let's go back to our code. And this time, let's loop over the tweets in our tweet list and access the IDs for each of the tweets. We can get this by accessing info from the returned object. These objects have methods to access information related to that tweet, such as the ID. So we're going to go ahead and comment out that print and basically say for tweet in tweet list, let's access the tweet ID. And to prove this is what we want, let's print this. And again, to help us with documentation, this is print the ID for each of the tweets. So again, we're going to still get that 5 most recent favorites from David Dobrik. And then within that list, we're going to go loop over each of the tweets and print the tweet ID, which again, we would use at a later date to retweet. So let's save this. Clear. And head back and run this again. And this time we see we get each of the 5 tweets that David Dobrik recently liked. Great. What we'll focus on next is passing this tweet ID into a retweet method so we can retweet the like.